Have you ever felt that a relationship in your life takes more than it gives? People who constantly make you feel guilty, judged, or valued only when you meet their expectations often leave a negative mark on your well-being. These are not genuine connections, but rather toxic imbalances. Imagine this. Every day you feel the pressure to please someone just to maintain the relationship, while they rarely consider your emotions. This not only drains your energy, but also diminishes your self-worth, something you deserve to cherish. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Creating distance is not selfish. It's an act of self-care, a crucial step in protecting your inner peace and self-esteem. If a relationship lacks balance and respect, you have every right to reassess it. In my own life, I've had to question relationships where I felt I was giving too much and receiving little in return. Setting boundaries was a challenging decision, but it allowed me to create a healthier space for my personal growth and well-being. Let's explore the signs and tools that can help you identify and resolve such relationships wisely. You will not only learn to recognize the issues, but also gain the confidence to take action without guilt or hesitation. Begin your journey to safeguard your peace and reclaim your self-worth today. Choose your relationships wisely to protect your self-worth. In life, we often encounter various types of people, and among them are those who always seem to have financial excuses to avoid responsibility or commitment. At first glance, their reasoning might seem valid. However, upon closer observation, you might uncover a lack of fairness and sincerity behind their repeated justifications. Imagine having a friend who, whenever a shared expense or group plan arises, starts the conversation by lamenting their lack of money. Yet strangely enough, this same person leads a comfortable life, indulging in personal luxuries, hobbies, or trips. This isn't the behavior of someone facing genuine financial hardship, but rather someone who prioritizes their own interests while disregarding yours. In these cases, the issue isn't their financial capability, but their unwillingness to share responsibility. They may readily spend on themselves or impress others, but when it comes to you, the familiar refrain of "I can't afford it" creates an invisible barrier. I once had a similar experience with a friend. He consistently declined shared plans, citing financial difficulties. Initially, I empathized, believing he was genuinely struggling. Over time, however, I noticed he never hesitated to spend on things he enjoyed or to impress others. One day, when he declined a well-planned trip with the same excuse, it made me reflect. It wasn't about his finances, it was about his priorities. He didn't value my presence or the experiences we planned together. Experiences like this teach us that healthy relationships are built on fairness and sincerity. When one person gives constantly without receiving anything in return, the imbalance eventually leads to emotional exhaustion. Whether it's a friendship, family relationship, or partnership, mutual support is essential. If you feel like you're being taken advantage of, treated merely as a resource rather than a valued person, it's time to reassess that relationship. Recognizing and admitting that a relationship is no longer positive is not easy. However, establishing boundaries is vital for protecting your mental health and self-worth. Boundaries are not about rejecting others, but about affirming that you deserve to be treated fairly and respectfully. Don't hesitate to have honest conversations when you sense imbalance. Setting boundaries is an expression of self-respect and personal empowerment, ensuring healthier relationships in the future. The relationships that truly matter are those where both parties feel supported, respected, and share joy together. The people in your life should bring positive energy, encourage your growth, and stand by you during important moments. When selecting the relationships in your life, focus on quality over quantity. A few deep, meaningful connections can provide far greater value than a long list of acquaintances who only show up when they need something from you. Remember, your life deserves relationships rooted in sincerity, where you feel valued and equal. Don't be afraid to walk away from connections that no longer serve your well-being. It only makes room for those who genuinely care about you. Choosing your relationships wisely isn't selfish. It's an act of self-love and protection. Build a meaningful life with connections that bring true empathy, value, and joy. Steering clear of conflict. Why avoiding argumentative people protects your peace. Have you ever felt trapped in a relationship where every conversation turns into an argument? It's emotionally exhausting and often leaves you questioning your peace of mind. These are the dynamics you encounter when dealing with people who thrive on conflict. They magnify minor issues and, worse, drag you into their disputes, forcing you to take sides. Conflict-oriented individuals not only disrupt their own lives, but also drain the tranquility from their relationships. Their need to argue isn't a sign of strength or intelligence. It's often rooted in insecurity or a desire for control. While occasional disagreements are normal in any relationship, habitual conflict turns every interaction into a battlefield, leaving little room for harmony or mutual respect. I once had a friend who perfectly fit this description. On the surface, he seemed confident and self-assured. However, whenever an opposing opinion arose, he would immediately escalate it into a heated argument. One evening, during a casual gathering, we discussed plans for an upcoming trip. A minor disagreement emerged, and my friend quickly pulled me into the debate, pressuring me to take his side in front of everyone. That moment was a turning point. I realized that maintaining a balanced and healthy relationship with someone who constantly seeks conflict is nearly impossible. Frequent conflict erodes trust, weakens relationships, and leaves you emotionally drained. Relationships are meant to provide support, encouragement, and joy, not relentless stress. Associating with people who thrive on arguments will only wear down your inner strength and peace of mind. Choosing to distance yourself from argumentative individuals is not about rejecting them, but prioritizing your emotional well-being. Stoic philosophy teaches us that peace begins within and requires conscious effort to protect. Surrounding yourself with people who value harmony allows you to thrive in an environment of mutual respect and understanding. Instead of engaging with those who bring chaos, invest in relationships that foster growth and positivity. Seek out individuals who encourage open dialogue, respect differing opinions, and prioritize resolution over conflict. Healthy connections don't demand constant defense or choosing sides. They thrive on cooperation and mutual respect. Setting boundaries with argumentative people can be challenging, especially when they're close to you. However, it's essential to remember that maintaining your inner peace is not selfish. It's a necessity. Reflect on your relationships and ask yourself, are they uplifting or draining? The answer will guide you toward preserving your emotional health. Avoiding conflict seekers isn't about running away from disagreements, but choosing relationships that enhance your life. Healthy interactions allow for constructive disagreements that lead to growth, not emotional exhaustion. Remember, your peace is a priority. Surround yourself with people who respect it. Breaking free from constant critics. Protect your confidence and self-worth. Have you ever encountered someone who seems to criticize you at every turn, leaving you doubting your worth? These individuals have a knack for making you feel inadequate, as if your value is tied to their approval. Relationships with such people are not uplifting. Instead, they chip away at your self-esteem and confidence over time. Being around someone who habitually judges or belittles you creates a toxic environment. Over time, you might find yourself altering your behavior to gain their acceptance or validation. This dynamic is draining and fosters insecurity rather than growth. It's essential to recognize that true friends and loved ones build you up rather than tear you down. The wisdom of Stoicism reminds us of a vital truth. You cannot control the opinions of others, but you can control how you respond to them. This philosophy encourages us to reflect on whether a relationship is nurturing our development or simply wearing us out. When criticism is constant and unfounded, it's a sign that the relationship may no longer serve your well-being. In my own life, I've encountered relationships where the balance of respect was clearly off. A former colleague, for instance, frequently pointed out my flaws under the guise of constructive feedback. While some insights were helpful, the overall tone was demeaning, making me second-guess my abilities. It took time, but I eventually realized that their constant judgment wasn't about helping me improve, but about asserting control. When faced with such behavior, the first step is to establish clear boundaries. Communicate openly about how their comments make you feel and what you need to maintain a healthier dynamic. If they continue to disregard your boundaries, it's time to consider distancing yourself. Relationships that foster growth and positivity are built on mutual respect and support. Surround yourself with people who celebrate your achievements and provide constructive advice without diminishing your value. True connections leave you feeling energized and confident, not depleted or undervalued. Walking away from a relationship rooted in criticism isn't an act of rejection. It's a step towards self-respect. Recognize your worth and prioritize connections that nurture your confidence and self-esteem. Remember, you deserve relationships that inspire and encourage you to become the best version of yourself. Avoiding the blame shifters, the importance of responsibility in relationships. Have you ever found yourself entangled in a relationship where someone consistently avoids accountability, shifting blame onto others, even onto you? This behavior is not only frustrating but can also erode trust, leaving you to shoulder burdens that aren't yours. Relationships thrive on shared responsibility, and when one party refuses to own their mistakes, the dynamic becomes toxic. Blame shifters deflect attention from their own shortcomings by pointing fingers at those around them. Their refusal to acknowledge fault creates an imbalance, forcing others to deal with the consequences of their actions. Over time, this behavior can lead to resentment, confusion, and emotional exhaustion for those on the receiving end. Imagine collaborating on a group project where one person repeatedly fails to deliver but finds excuses, blaming circumstances, colleagues, or even you for their shortcomings. This pattern not only disrupts progress, but also undermines trust and teamwork. Responsibility is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. Whether in friendships, family, or professional settings, owning up to mistakes fosters trust, growth, and mutual respect. Stoicism emphasizes this principle, teaching us that inner peace begins with taking accountability for ourselves. Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This mindset underscores the importance of recognizing our role in any situation. Accepting responsibility empowers us to learn, grow, and strengthen our relationships. I once worked with someone who exemplified blame shifting. Whenever a task went awry, they were quick to find fault with others, never acknowledging their role in the outcome. Initially, I made excuses for their behavior, thinking it was a one-time lapse. But over time, the pattern became clear. They were unwilling to own their mistakes, even when they were obviously at fault. One instance stands out vividly. A project deadline was missed because they hadn't completed their assigned tasks. Instead of addressing their lapse, they claimed poor communication from the team was to blame. This left others scrambling to fix the situation while they avoided accountability altogether. If you're dealing with someone who regularly avoids responsibility, it's essential to evaluate the relationship. Ask yourself, do they acknowledge their mistakes, or are they quick to deflect blame? Are they willing to learn from their errors, or do they repeat the same behaviors? Does their lack of accountability leave you feeling stressed or undervalued? Answering these questions can help you determine whether the relationship is built on mutual respect or if it's time to set boundaries. Establishing boundaries is crucial when dealing with someone who refuses to take responsibility. Start by calmly addressing the issue. Highlight specific instances where their behavior has caused issues. Explain how their lack of accountability impacts you or the situation. Set clear expectations for future interactions, emphasizing the importance of shared responsibility. If they're unwilling to change, it may be necessary to limit your involvement with them. Protecting your emotional well-being is just as important as fostering healthy relationships. In contrast to blame shifters, relationships rooted in responsibility are characterized by openness, growth, and trust. These connections allow both parties to feel valued and supported, even during challenging times. For example, imagine working with a colleague who immediately owns up to a mistake, apologizes, and actively seeks solutions. This approach not only resolves the issue more efficiently, but also strengthens the bond between team members. Responsibility fosters collaboration, mutual respect, and a sense of accountability that elevates the entire relationship. Taking responsibility isn't just about admitting fault, it's about acknowledging our role in the bigger picture. This mindset cultivates emotional maturity, resilience, and the ability to navigate conflicts effectively. By surrounding yourself with individuals who value accountability, you create an environment that nurtures personal and relational growth. Dealing with blame shifters can be emotionally taxing, but recognizing this behavior is the first step toward protecting your peace. Remember, you deserve relationships built on trust, mutual respect, and shared responsibility. If someone in your life consistently avoids accountability, consider setting boundaries or distancing yourself. Embrace connections with those who value growth and accountability, as they will inspire and uplift you rather than weigh you down. Taking responsibility is not just about fixing mistakes, it's a testament to our character and commitment to meaningful relationships. Choose to surround yourself with people who share protecting your positivity. Why avoiding negative people is key to your well-being. Have you ever spent time with someone who seems to see the world through a constant haze of negativity? These individuals complain endlessly, fail to recognize the good in life, and often try to pull others into their cycle of pessimism. While it's natural to face challenges or vent frustrations occasionally, chronic negativity can drain your energy and impact how you view your own life. Negativity isn't just a bad habit, it's contagious. Spending time with someone who always highlights the worst in every situation can cloud your perspective, leaving you feeling unmotivated or overwhelmed. This influence can seep into your thoughts, shaping how you perceive your experiences and hindering your ability to maintain a positive outlook. For example, imagine planning a long-awaited trip. Instead of sharing your excitement, a negative person might immediately point out potential problems: bad weather, travel delays, or expenses. Over time, their attitude can dim your enthusiasm and make you question your decisions, even when there's no reason to. The Stoics recognized the profound influence of our surroundings on our thoughts and emotions. As the philosophy advises, carefully choose your environment, for it shapes your mind and emotions. This wisdom reminds us that our mental well-being is closely tied to the people and energy we allow into our lives. By intentionally surrounding ourselves with positivity, we create a space for growth, resilience, and inner peace. In my own life, I once had a colleague whose negativity seemed to dominate every interaction. No matter the topic, work, family, or future plans, they would find a way to focus on the downsides. Initially, I tried to counterbalance their pessimism with encouragement and solutions. However, their attitude remained unchanged, and our conversations began to leave me feeling drained. The turning point came when I noticed that their negativity was influencing my mood and productivity. I realized that I couldn't change their outlook, but I could change how much energy I invested in our interactions. If you suspect someone in your life may be spreading negativity, ask yourself, do they focus primarily on problems rather than solutions? Do their conversations leave you feeling emotionally depleted? Have you noticed their pessimism affecting your mindset or decisions? Answering yes to these questions is a sign that it may be time to reassess the role they play in your life. Creating boundaries with individuals who consistently spread negativity is essential for protecting your well-being. Here's how you can approach it. 1. Limit exposure. Reduce the time you spend with them, especially during moments when their negativity is likely to be overwhelming. 2. Shift the conversation. Redirect conversations toward more neutral or positive topics. If they insist on dwelling in negativity, gently disengage. 3. Communicate your needs. Let them know how their attitude affects you and express the importance of maintaining a more balanced perspective. Replacing negative influences with uplifting relationships can significantly enhance your quality of life. Seek out individuals who inspire and encourage you, celebrate your successes, and approach challenges with optimism. For instance, a friend who actively looks for solutions during tough times can help you navigate difficulties with clarity and hope. These relationships not only uplift your spirit, but also reinforce the mindset needed to face life's uncertainties with confidence. Choosing to avoid negativity isn't about abandoning people during their struggles. It's about protecting your peace. It's okay to support friends and loved ones through tough times, but it's equally important to recognize when their negativity becomes a pattern that affects your well-being. By intentionally surrounding yourself with positive influences, you create an environment that fosters growth, resilience, and happiness. Remember, the energy you allow into your life will shape how you view the world and ultimately how you live it. Avoiding negative people isn't selfish. It's a commitment to your mental health and happiness. Recognize the signs of chronic negativity, set boundaries when necessary, and seek relationships that nurture your optimism. Life is too short to carry the weight of someone else's pessimism. Choose positivity, protect your peace, and watch how your perspective transforms for the better. The importance of honesty. Why avoiding dishonest people protects your well-being. Honesty is the foundation of trust, the cornerstone upon which all meaningful relationships are built. Yet, what happens when you realize someone in your life frequently lies, hides the truth, or engages in deceitful behavior? Such actions are not only harmful to trust, but also introduce insecurity and doubt into the relationship. Recognizing these signs and acting on them is crucial to preserving your inner peace and self-respect. A dishonest person doesn't just damage the relationship they share with you, they create an atmosphere of uncertainty. When someone lies, you're left questioning their motives, intentions, and even your own judgment. This lack of clarity can make you second-guess your instincts, leaving you in a state of constant unease. Imagine confiding in a friend only to discover later that they distorted the truth about what you shared or used your vulnerability against you. It's a betrayal that shakes your confidence, not just in them, but in relationships overall. Stoic philosophy reminds us that truth, though sometimes painful, is essential for personal growth and authentic connections. As the Stoic principle teaches, truth is of utmost importance, even when it is difficult to accept. This emphasis on truth underscores that honesty isn't just about words, it's about actions, integrity, and consistency. When a person lacks these qualities, they undermine the very essence of trust and reliability. I once had a colleague who seemed charming and supportive but often manipulated facts to serve their narrative. At first, I dismissed these instances as minor lapses, thinking everyone makes mistakes. However, over time, their behavior became a pattern. They would twist truths, avoid accountability, and spread misinformation, leaving a trail of confusion and distrust. The turning point came when a project failed because of their dishonesty. They not only hid critical information, but also shifted blame to others. That experience taught me that dishonesty isn't just a personal flaw, it's a toxic force that disrupts collaboration, trust, and peace. If you suspect someone in your life is dishonest, consider these questions. Do they consistently hide or distort the truth? Have their lies caused you or others harm? Do you feel anxious or mistrustful around them? When the answer is yes, it's a clear signal to reevaluate the relationship. Dealing with dishonest people requires firm boundaries. Here's how you can safeguard your well-being. 1. Address the issue. Openly communicate how their dishonesty affects you. If they're willing to change, it's a step toward repairing trust. 2. Limit vulnerability. Avoid sharing personal details or relying on them for critical matters until they prove they can be trusted. 3. Take action. If their behavior doesn't improve, distance yourself. Protecting your peace is more important than preserving a relationship built on falsehoods. In contrast to dishonesty, relationships rooted in truth are empowering. They provide stability, foster mutual respect, and encourage open communication. Surrounding yourself with honest individuals allows you to build connections based on authenticity and shared values. For example, think of a friend who always tells you the truth, even when it's hard to hear. While their honesty might sometimes sting, you know it comes from a place of care and respect. These are the people who help you grow and thrive. Honesty isn't just about morality, it's about creating an environment where trust can flourish. Without honesty, relationships become fragile and prone to collapse under the weight of deception. Choosing to prioritize truth in your connections ensures that you're surrounded by people who value integrity as much as you do. Avoiding dishonest people isn't about judgment, it's about self-preservation. Recognize the signs, set boundaries, and prioritize your peace over relationships that bring uncertainty and doubt. Remember, you deserve connections that are honest, respectful, and uplifting. When you build your relationships on a foundation of truth, you create a space for trust, growth, and genuine connection. Choose honesty. It will guide you towards stronger, more meaningful bonds. Protecting your positivity. Why avoiding negative people is key to your well-being. Have you ever spent time with someone who seems to see the world through a constant haze of negativity? These individuals complain endlessly, fail to recognize the good in life, and often try to pull others into their cycle of pessimism. While it's natural to face challenges or vent frustrations occasionally, chronic negativity can drain your energy and impact how you view your own life. Negativity isn't just a bad habit, it's contagious. Spending time with someone who always highlights the worst in every situation can cloud your perspective, leaving you feeling unmotivated or overwhelmed. This influence can seep into your thoughts, shaping how you perceive your experiences and hindering your ability to maintain a positive outlook. For example, imagine planning a long-awaited trip. Instead of sharing your excitement, a negative person might immediately point out potential problems: bad weather, travel delays, or expenses. Over time, their attitude can dim your enthusiasm and make you question your decisions, even when there's no reason to. The Stoics recognized the profound influence of our surroundings on our thoughts and emotions. As the philosophy advises, carefully choose your environment, for it shapes your mind and emotions. This wisdom reminds us that our mental well-being is closely tied to the people and energy we allow into our lives. By intentionally surrounding ourselves with positivity, we create a space for growth, resilience, and inner peace. In my own life, I once had a colleague whose negativity seemed to dominate every interaction. No matter the topic, work, family, or future plans, they would find a way to focus on the downsides. Initially, I tried to counterbalance their pessimism with encouragement and solutions. However, their attitude remained unchanged, and our conversations began to leave me feeling drained. The turning point came when I noticed that their negativity was influencing my mood and productivity. I realized that I couldn't change their outlook, but I could change how much energy I invested in our interactions. If you suspect someone in your life may be spreading negativity, ask yourself, do they focus primarily on problems rather than solutions? Do their conversations leave you feeling emotionally depleted? Have you noticed their pessimism affecting your mindset or decisions? Answering yes to these questions is a sign that it may be time to reassess the role they play in your life. Creating boundaries with individuals who consistently spread negativity is essential for protecting your well-being. Here's how you can approach it. 1. Limit exposure. Reduce the time you spend with them, especially during moments when their negativity is likely to be overwhelming. 2. Shift the conversation. Redirect conversations toward more neutral or positive topics. If they insist on dwelling in negativity, gently disengage. 3. Communicate your needs. Let them know how their attitude affects you and express the importance of maintaining a more balanced perspective. Replacing negative influences with uplifting relationships can significantly enhance your quality of life. Seek out individuals who inspire and encourage you, celebrate your successes, and approach challenges with optimism. For instance, a friend who actively looks for solutions during tough times can help you navigate difficulties with clarity and hope. These relationships not only uplift your spirit, but also reinforce the mindset needed to face life's uncertainties with confidence. Choosing to avoid negativity isn't about abandoning people during their struggles. It's about protecting your peace. It's okay to support friends and loved ones through tough times, but it's equally important to recognize when their negativity becomes a pattern that affects your well-being. By intentionally surrounding yourself with positive influences, you create an environment that fosters growth, resilience, and happiness. Remember, the energy you allow into your life will shape how you view the world and, ultimately, how you live it. Avoiding negative people isn't selfish, it's a commitment to your mental health and happiness. Recognize the signs of chronic negativity, set boundaries when necessary, and seek relationships that nurture your optimism. Life is too short to carry the weight of someone else's pessimism. Choose positivity, protect your peace, and watch how your perspective transforms for the better. Respecting boundaries, why it's crucial to avoid those who don't boundaries, are more than just limits. They're essential markers of respect and self-worth. When someone disregards your personal boundaries, they are, in effect, showing a lack of respect for you as an individual. This can manifest in various ways, from encroaching on your time and personal space to dismissing your emotional needs. Protecting these boundaries isn't just a form of self-care, it's a necessity for maintaining healthy relationships. Imagine consistently feeling that your needs or limits are being ignored. Someone might demand your time without considering your schedule, interrupt your personal moments, or push you into situations that make you uncomfortable. Over time, this behavior erodes your peace of mind and leaves you feeling devalued. For example, think about a colleague who always drops work on your desk last minute, expecting you to stay late to complete it. Or perhaps a friend who repeatedly shows up unannounced, disrupting your downtime despite being asked to plan visits ahead. These are clear signs of boundary violations that can lead to stress, frustration, and resentment. Stoicism teaches us the importance of setting and defending boundaries as a means of protecting our inner peace and sense of self-worth. As the philosophy reminds us, by maintaining your boundaries, you preserve your peace and affirm your value. This principle underscores the idea that your boundaries are not just personal preferences, they're declarations of how you deserve to be treated. Upholding them is a way of communicating self-respect to both yourself and others. I once had a friend who constantly overstepped my boundaries. They would call late at night, knowing I had an early schedule, and would insist on discussing their problems, even when I was visibly exhausted. Despite multiple conversations about my need for rest and personal space, they continued this behavior, dismissing my requests as unimportant. The breaking point came when they showed up uninvited during a family gathering, demanding attention at a completely inappropriate time. This repeated disregard for my boundaries forced me to reevaluate the friendship. I realized that their lack of respect for my limits was ultimately a lack of respect for me. If you're wondering whether someone in your life might be crossing the line, ask yourself, do they dismiss your requests or needs as unimportant? Have they invaded your time, space, or emotional boundaries despite being asked not to? Do you feel guilty, anxious, or resentful after interacting with them? These feelings are strong indicators that your boundaries are not being honored. Addressing boundary violations can be challenging, especially with people who are close to you. However, it's essential for your well-being. Here are some strategies to help you maintain your boundaries. 1. Clearly define your limits. Be specific about what you're comfortable with and communicate it assertively. For example, let them know when you need alone time or prefer prior notice for visits. 2. Address violations. Immediately. When someone crosses a line, address it promptly. Politely but firmly remind them of your boundary and explain why it matters to you. 3. Be consistent. Enforcing your boundaries consistently sends a clear message that you expect them to be respected. Inconsistency can lead others to believe your limits are negotiable. 4. Distance yourself. If necessary. If someone repeatedly disregards your boundaries, it may be time to create distance. This isn't about punishing them, but about protecting your peace and well-being. In relationships where boundaries are respected, both parties feel valued and secure. For instance, a supportive friend understands when you need space and checks in respectfully without overstepping. A considerate colleague acknowledges your workload and collaborates to find solutions instead of adding to your stress. These interactions foster trust, mutual respect, and emotional safety, key elements of any meaningful relationship. Setting and defending boundaries isn't selfish. It's a way of ensuring that your relationships are balanced and respectful. Boundaries provide clarity about how you want to be treated and help others understand your needs and limits. When honored, they create a foundation for trust and authenticity. Choosing to avoid people who consistently ignore your boundaries is an act of self-respect. It's not about rejecting them, but about prioritizing your well-being. Remember, your peace and self-worth are worth protecting, and healthy relationships will always honor your limits. By defining and enforcing boundaries, you build a life surrounded by respect, support, and understanding. Embrace the power of saying no to protect your peace and create space for connections that truly value you. Recognizing exploitation, why it's vital to avoid people who use you. In any relationship, balance and mutual respect are key. However, one of the most dangerous dynamics occurs when someone enters your life solely for their benefit. These individuals appear when they need something from you but vanish the moment you require their support. Such relationships are not only exhausting, but can also erode your self-esteem over time. Exploitation often disguises itself as friendship or care, but over time, patterns emerge. These individuals will ask for your help, time, or resources repeatedly while offering little in return. For instance, a friend might constantly seek advice, favors, or financial assistance, but when you face challenges, they're conveniently unavailable. Imagine a colleague who always asks for help completing their tasks or meeting deadlines, but never reciprocates. While it might seem harmless at first, their repeated reliance on your support can lead to resentment and an unbalanced dynamic. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of fairness and mutual respect in relationships. As the Stoics teach, true relationships are built on equal exchange, not exploitation. This principle reminds us to evaluate the people in our lives carefully. Are they contributing to the relationship or merely taking? A healthy connection involves mutual effort, where both parties support and uplift each other. I once had a friend who constantly sought my help, from emotional support to professional advice. Initially, I was happy to assist, thinking it was part of being a good friend. However, I began to notice that our interactions were one-sided. Whenever I needed a listening ear or help with something, they were either too busy or uninterested. The turning point came when I faced a significant challenge at work and reached out for their input, only to be met with excuses. I realized that their presence in my life was conditional. They were there for what I could offer, but not for who I was. If you're wondering whether someone in your life might be exploiting you, consider the following. Are they consistently present when they need something but absent when you need help? Do you feel emotionally drained or taken for granted after interacting with them? Have you noticed a lack of reciprocity in your relationship? These signs can help you identify exploitative behavior and take steps to address it. Once you recognize exploitation, it's crucial to take action to protect your well-being. Here are some steps you can take. 1. Set clear boundaries. Communicate what you're willing to offer and where you draw the line. For example, let them know that your time and resources are limited and you need to prioritize your own needs. 2. Assess their response. Observe how they react to your boundaries. Do they respect them, or do they attempt to guilt trip or manipulate you? 3. Limit your availability. Reduce how often you're available to help, especially if they've shown a pattern of exploitation. This allows you to focus your energy on healthier relationships. 4. Prioritize supportive connections. Invest your time and energy in relationships that are built on mutual respect and care. Healthy relationships are characterized by a balance of giving and receiving. For instance, a true friend not only seeks your help when they need it, but also actively supports you in return. These relationships foster trust, respect, and emotional fulfillment. Imagine having a partner or friend who celebrates your successes, listens to your concerns, and offers assistance without expecting anything in return. Such connections enrich your life and provide a solid foundation for growth and happiness. Walking away from exploitative relationships isn't an act of rejection, it's an affirmation of your self-worth. Recognize that you deserve relationships where your value isn't measured by what you can give, but by who you are. By letting go of those who take advantage of you, you create space for genuine connections. Exploitation isn't just about taking advantage of someone's kindness, it's a violation of trust. Allowing exploitative behavior to persist can lead to emotional exhaustion and a diminished sense of self-worth. Protecting yourself by setting boundaries ensures that your relationships are rooted in fairness and mutual respect. Your time, energy, and care are precious. Surround yourself with people who value and respect these qualities, not those who exploit them. If someone in your life consistently uses you for their gain, it's time to reevaluate their place in your journey. By prioritizing relationships that are built on reciprocity and support, you create a life filled with positivity and genuine connection. Remember, you deserve to be surrounded by people who appreciate you for who you are, not just what you can provide. Choose wisely, and your relationships will become a source of joy, not exhaustion. Sometimes, cutting ties with certain relationships isn't an act of selfishness. It's a step toward reclaiming your peace, protecting your values and nurturing your spirit. As Stoicism wisely reminds us, you cannot control others, but you can control how you respond to them. If you recognize any of these 9 signs in your life, it's time to listen to yourself and take action. Prioritize your well-being and surround yourself with people who uplift, support, and respect you for who you are. Remember, you deserve relationships that add joy and strength to your life, not ones that drain your energy and diminish your confidence. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insightful content about building resilience, living with purpose, and embracing the wisdom of Stoicism. Share this video with friends or loved ones who might need these lessons, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Your journey toward inner peace and stronger connections begins now. Let's grow together, one step at a time. Thank you for being part of this community, and we look forward to hearing your stories and insights.